If you are new here, I am Bardhan. I share interesting stories and concepts from the books and articles I read. Today, we are going to see an interesting topic. Is money will buy happiness? Or the position and the corporate roles will lead to happiness? To answer these questions, I will tell you a story based on the Japanese belief of three powers. In Japan, they believe in three powers: the power of sword, gold, and mirror. Those who have the power of sword believe in the power that comes out of fear. The word sword symbolizes the power of defense. The great nations invest in the military to gain the advantage to control other nations. For example, America spent $1 trillion in its military to become the powerful military presence in the world. But for whatever reason, some use weapons to make their impact on the world and to gain power. The power of the sword is based on fear. It is a fear that if you do not have weapons, you will be overcome by another power. People who rely on the power of the sword say, it is a dog eat dog world. The power of gold. The jewel represents the power of money. I have observed there is some truth to the saying. Remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule. Unfortunately, history is filled with examples of the rich using the power of money to gain an advantage. Money is a neutral medium. It can be used for good or evil. Someone like Bill Gates uses his wealth for doing much good in the world, but some also use money to take advantage of the need. There is a power in money, but it is not the ultimate source of power and success. The mirror symbolizes the power of self-knowledge, and according to Japanese legend, self-knowledge is the most treasured of all three powers because it guides how all other powers are used, whether they are used for good or for evil. I take an example from our neighbor nation Singapore. I did my masters in Singapore, so I have seen this while living in Singapore. In 1965, Malaysia threw out Singapore from its states. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew could not control the tears during the first public meeting. He needs to address the three challenges. Singapore is an island, so they can expect attack from Malaysia and Indonesia at any point of time. Second, economic crisis. The unemployment was very high in 1965 and Singapore was dependent on Malaysia for all resources, including drinking water. Therefore, Singapore needed substantial financial support to build the infrastructure. Third, Singapore does not have any natural resources, so the growth has to come from other intellectual resources. After his first Prime Minister's speech, Lee Kuan Yew went into exile for 6 weeks. There was no news about it. But Lee Kuan Yew was silently discussing with different economists, global companies and consultants. His first focus was to build the nation by setting up manufacturing units and building infrastructures. Instead of fighting, he visited Indonesia and Malaysia and developed a cordial relationship so that military development is secondary. Instead, the focus was to build the infrastructure similar to US and Europe, so that the global companies could set up their corporate headquarters for Asia and Singapore. To match Hong Kong timing, Singapore advanced their timing by 1 hour, so the companies in Singapore will work precisely with China timing. This small measure helped Singapore attract a lot of foreign investments. Lee strongly believed in self-knowledge rather than sword and the jewel. Most people do not have any money problems. Instead, they have a financial education problem. They do not know the difference between an asset and a liability. I made a separate video for asset and liability topic. I have given the description on the top left corner. Money do not solve people's problems. Intelligence and financial education solve problems. You must look in the mirror and understand your motivations, desires and dreams and stay true to them even when it means going against the odds. It will face your fears and doubts and the new world will open to you. If you will not do well in school or if you are not the most popular and if you are not good at math or whatever other reasons, you have to sell yourself short. None of it matters in the long run. Those so-called shortcomings will only count if you think they count. If you want to know more, I would like to recommend the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. With these positive thoughts, I will leave you. All the very best. If you like this content, please share it with your friends and family members. Like and a subscription to my channel will give me a feedback for my work. We'll meet you next week with one more interesting topic. Till then, it's goodbye.